Yo, yo, yo! Welcome to Around the Ecomi Verse, episode 55. We got your boys Crypto Rain, Ron, Dane the Bull, and the real Randy Chavez.
Hi.
Woo!
What's going on, everyone?
What's
So
good?
I'd love to start this show with just getting everyone to introduce themselves. And Ron is to this channel, so if you guys can, if you introduce yourself to these guys and the viewers on this channel, and just let us know like your background and how you got into crypto, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, my name's Ron. I have been on this stream before. I wasn't OMI and Veve. I don't hold any OMI now. I do have a Veve account, but I sold most of it a while back. But I'm familiar with all that. I'm a crypto trader. Been into crypto for many years. So that's where most people know me for different various calls and, BTC especially.
Awesome. Crypto Rain, you want to give us a quick spiel as well?
Yeah, I started in crypto back in 2017. Prior to that, I had done real estate and real estate investment for 20 years. And what I like about real estate investment is it has a somewhat predictable cycle where it goes up and it goes down over about a 21 to 23 year process. What I loved about crypto is it also goes up and goes down in a somewhat predictable pattern, about 3.5 to 4 years. And the swings are massive. And so after really getting involved in crypto in 2018, 2019, I realized this is exactly where I want to be. There's no better place to create massive wealth if you trade it well. Most people lose money in real estate because they make mistakes, and most people lose money in crypto too when you're not doing the right things. But when you are doing the right things, there's no better place to make money in a 4 to 8 year period than crypto. Nothing has ever existed like this.
Awesome. Danny the Bull.
What's going on, everybody? Danny the Bull. I think everyone's familiar. Been on the show a bunch of times, so glad to be back again.
Awesome. And the real Randy Chavez.
I feel like Danny did like the Robert Downey Jr. version of like in his description on Twitter. It's just, you know who I am. That's it. I got my start in finance and high risk lending in 2017. Did that for a while until I got into Tesla in like 2019, 2020. Really learned about disruptive companies. And then when I found Veve and their OMI tokens, like, hey, this is disrupting a multi-billion-dollar industry in a massive way. And I just went all in. And that's it.
Awesome. I've just addressed a few comments. They just announced the Betty Boop drop on Veve today, like just 10 minutes ago. So Tour de Lance is saying that they did it for the show, so that'll be pretty cool. So check that out on Twitter, on Ecomi or Veve's Twitter. You can see the Betty the Boop drop, and it looks like they got some music to go with it, which is pretty cool. And Randy, you were just saying that it's a $1 billion industry. Is that right, per year?
Yeah, people, and this was an old article too. I was just saying, like, how much do people spend on this per year? And it was $1 billion a year. And this was in 2017. That's a recent. It might have gone down since then, but I feel like I don't know. It probably hit that cycle of it multiple times. It started in the 30s. Like it's old, it's vintage, and it's new again or it's in again. And then there's just go and Google Betty Boop and all that, and you just see like couples just going and or just people have major collections of it. And if it's been around for like 90 years, you're gonna have that or 96 years. But yeah, it's really controversial character at first because she was like sexual. At first, she started off as a dog, and then she became human like 6 or 8 episodes later, and then she's in, like the short dress.
Like did it happen like over a period of time? She just instantly became human.
So she was like it was Dizzy Dishes what she appeared on, and he was like a dog-like character. So they wanted to make her a dog-like character as well. She had like floppy ears, and she had like giant cheeks that what is that called, like their mandibles or their maws, and they were droopy a little bit. And then like after like 6 or 8 episodes, they made her big head, a lot more human like, and then those like short tiny dresses, and people got like big mad about it. But yeah, she is the first person to ever go from dog to human in animation, I believe.
That's hilarious. That's cool. We got a little comment from Rad G here. Hope there's something bullish to say at the Crypto XR event. If anyone's unfamiliar, Crypto XR is on, I think it's 25th of January, and they have David, you and Dan Krellers will be there. I'm not sure if they're speaking anymore. Randy, do you know if they're speaking? Because
I don't think so. They'll be at a booth. I don't think they're. I think it's just because it's not a English event. It's more of a French event. I don't think anyone on the team speaks French.
Yeah, because originally they said they were going to be speakers, right? And then they, I think they reneged on it.
Yeah.
Hey, Luke. Cool. We got some more people in the house. Boop FA, probably.
She should be, but this is not like just Betty Boop FA. This is first appearance music. Because she's actually singing. Like, we have music on the app, just in, I think, the small little Disney villains. They have music on there, and some of the Disney cards, they have music. But she's actually singing in these, so that's what I think is really special about it.
Awesome.
When's that dropping, do they say?
14 January, so on Sunday.
That's soon. Awesome. Yeah, cool. Ron, you've got some fans here as well, which is awesome. And so do you want to tell the viewers and some people who aren't familiar that your sort of OMI journey, because you traded OMI a lot from my understanding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a trader, I mean, I invest in some things, some things are more short-term, mid-term targets, long-term. And like a lot of people, when I found OMI, I was very intrigued. I mean, seemed like a slam dunk and everything, and followed the project for a long time. And when it was, I can't remember the exact date, maybe March or so, April 2022, when I saw it was breaking through a level of support on higher time frames, it was like, and I put it on Twitter several times, there's lots of screenshots of it. I was like, hey, we're going down to 000 or 002 or whatever. And I didn't sell all of it because I did believe in it so much. So I do understand the emotional attachment to it. But, at some point I had to move on from OMI. I feel things in their first market. Well, I know things in their first market cycle, 95% of the time are going to get better gains. I don't think OMI is a dead token. I don't hate the project. I don't FUD it. I hope the best for everyone in it. I have lots of friends. I consider myself part of the community. I mean, who else do I know out here on Twitter for the most part? So, I'm not anti-OMI, but I don't hold any OMI. And I think that there's easier ways to get bigger gains than OMI at this point in the game.
Can I ask what's the best way to get bigger gains than OMI? Because if you show me something that's a guaranteed 1000x, I'll sell everything right now.
OMI's 1000x.
No, but that's more than what OMI I think would be.
Well, so look, it's like an extreme bullish case for OMI. You would say like $20 billion market cap?
No, that would be
100 billion to 200 billion.
$100 billion market cap for OMI.
Yeah, 20 billion is the lower case of
this cycle?
Lower end of my bull.
You said the extreme bullish case. That could totally happen. Will it happen?
Yeah.
You said extreme bullish case.
Yeah.
So 20 billion is like, that's going to happen.
My lower end of my base case is 20 billion.
Yeah, I don't think 100 billion is possible this cycle.
Oh, absolutely possible. XRP did that in 2017.
Yeah, but XRP is a different type of animal. XRP, you're talking about money settlement for like the global banking system. So so people price things like when you talk about blockchain, you're talking about like the big tech of layer ones. You're talking big tech. You're talking like the equivalent of like the Googles and whatnot. XRP, you're talking money settlement throughout the world. So they're just priced differently than something like OMI.
I'm not unaware of that, but you're also talking about 2 bull cycles ago, and OMI's market cap went to what, 10 billion? So 100 billion, you're talking about.
OMI went to 4 billion last cycle.
Okay, so at 25x's from the last one, that's possible. Absolutely. Now, will it happen? I don't know, but it is absolutely possible. XRP's market cap is going to go a hell of a lot higher. So yes, they're not in the same ballpark, but we're talking about different timeframes. So XRP's market cap this time might go over $1 trillion. Cool. Can OMI go over $1 trillion? No.
I think those are overly optimistic, and I would love for OMI to get to 100 billion. I would love, I'd love for to have multiple $1 trillion assets, but I don't think that's.
There's a convergence coming this bull market that has never happened before. And so the 4-year cycle has been playing out since 2013. So it's not quite 4 years, it's almost 4 years, but 2013, 2017, 2021, end of 2024 is the normal when it would normally hit. But now we're going to we've been able to front run institutions. That's never happened in history. The reason why Gary Gensler's been trying to hold back all these people from being able to invest in it, because he doesn't want people to be able to front run the institutions. So finally now institutions will be able to get in, and they're going to bring in the kind of funds we have not seen enter in crypto. This idea of digital collectibles is going to take off in a way it hasn't before. It hit pretty hard in 2021, and that was with a fraction of the population being aware of crypto. This time, 50 to 90% of the population is going to be aware of crypto. And this idea of digital collectibles is going to do things you've never seen before and can't imagine. And Veve is positioned super well for that. So like Ron says, I don't usually collect things in a market cap as high as OMI, because the likelihood that they do 100x, which is kind of my requirement, isn't usually very high. But can OMI do 100x from here? Yes. I mean, it'd take 20x just to get to its previous all-time high. 100x is just 5x over its previous high. And this idea of digital collectibles, I saw it happen with NBA Top Shots in 2021, where $1,100 investment went to $185,000 just 6 months later, because this idea of digital collectibles, when it hit a little bit of the mainstream, went absolutely crazy. And so it's going to happen to a much bigger impact this time. And there's a lot of things converging that is going to make it play out this way.
Yeah, and if
when you ask Rain, like, you think it could go there, you're not asking Rain if it should go there. He'll tell you it shouldn't go there, but he's just saying that it's possible.
Yeah, I don't think it can go there.
Yeah, if all those things converge and we have like this monster golden bull run where those things are possible, then I would still say the same thing where like something like Medicaid, for example. So if OMI hit a $20 billion market cap, that's like 121x. So 121x for Medicaid would be like 2 billion. And that seems like so much more easier way to get there. And like I said, it's not like a flood against OMI. It's just, I think that there's easier ways to get there. Now, I don't deny that if all these things come together, like the perfect storm for OMI, then yeah, it could be big. It could still do great gains, but it's, you know, it's a lot of what if still and stuff like that. And I just find there's easier ways to get there. But I hope everything that Crypto Rain said, that converges, you know, and if that happens, then no matter what you're in, you're going to get crazy gains.
Some things will go up more than others. And so then you also have to evaluate risk. Like one of the risks of Medicaid, what is the risk that Medicaid goes out of business in the next 9 months? The risk is significantly higher than it is for Ecomi. So you are taking on more risk, but you also do have high.
See, I look at it as less risk because the market cap is so much lower. Like they're not going to go out of business in the next 9 months.
How do you know that?
Years down the road,
but we don't have access to.
I can say the same thing to you about Veve and Ecomi. Like they could go out of business just as easy. But the risk was removed.
Wait. You said a big statement there, which is totally incorrect. How much existing revenues do they have coming in every month for Medicaid?
That's great for Ecomi and Veve, but not so much for the users who are investing in it.
Well, you're talking about something going out of business. So what we are is early stage venture capital investors. And so we're really business investors, whether we realize it or not. And so there's no revenues coming in for Medicaid. And there's
they're profitable. I did a live stream with the founder. They're profitable.
So what kind of profitability? Because the word profitable could be $100 a month.
But we also don't have access to under the hood of Veve and OMI, right? And to Veve specifically.
We don't know what the number.
We don't know, right? We don't know. It's not like a publicly traded company that's reporting on their expenses. They're not reporting on earnings. So yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't go by. I wouldn't say that one is that, like, you know, I love OMI, I love Veve, but I wouldn't say it's like a foolproof thing because they generate revenue without understanding the overhead and their operating costs and all that stuff.
You can guesstimate at some of what their overhead and operating costs are because you have an idea of the employees and other parts of it, moving parts. So it is really rare that a company in the crypto space has so much revenue coming at this point, which puts them in a very strong position and puts them at a lower failure risk. As well as, like, you got to ask yourself the question, if they get a full frontal attack from the US SEC, can they survive it? Medicaid? No freaking way in hell. They would have $50 million to survive it. Could Ecomi? Yes. Would it massively hurt them? Yes, it would massively hurt them.
Well, if either of them got hit by an SEC thing, and there would be the token price would be completely decimated.
Right, but the question is survivability, right?
But the other thing is, aside from survivability, is market cap. So if you're in on something like a smaller cap, and it's like OMI's at a $200 million market cap, right? So the drop is being like, it's like when a lot of people invested in OMI, it was like $1 billion, a couple $1 billion, and they took that 90% haircut or whatever they took from wherever they bought it from. And so like the higher something is, kind of sometimes the more risk you take on.
Well, I guess so. You look at survivability. Would that wreck something in the short term? You saw that it wrecked XRP. Like they didn't really have a boom in 2021, all because of the SEC lawsuit, and they decided to fight it. They could have settled, and it would have been worse for all of us. But like, yeah, could they survive it? Yes. Would something like Medicaid? No. Now, do I invest in things in the market cap size range of Medicaid? Yes, that is the sweet spot where I do most of my investing. The only market cap that's so high that I invest in, like OMI, is OMI, right? Most of the time, I'm not touching something that has a $200 million market cap, because just like Ron says, that's not where the big gains usually are. And OMI's a little bit like, I feel like the risk to reward pans out well just on that one at the $200 million market cap. Most of the time, I don't. So I feel like their risk is lower. Their potential reward is still really high, that it could go 100x plus. And so that's why I have such a big bag of OMI and why I believe in it.
I should also point out for Ron, which may not be as familiar with crypto, Rain, I think, Rain, you're in like 200 or 300 projects. Is that right?
Yeah, like 200.
He said 200 to 300.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in like 40 to 50 probably. I mean, I diversify everything really well. I'm not going to get stuck with any, like if any one of my investments go to zero, just even Medicaid, one of my bigger ones, like, it'd be okay. I don't want that to happen, but I'm diversified enough. I'm not worried about bag holding anything. I'll get out if I see it on the chart. Like I'm not a bag holder, so I'm not worried about things going out of business and stuff like that. And I go by probabilities and what should, I don't disagree. Things could come together for OMI and it could really go up, but maybe, when you look at baselines and things like that, that's why, and it's not just Medicaid, it's a lot of other projects. Epico, me and Jordan talk about Epico a lot. We've done a deep dive on Epico. We finally got the tokenomics untangled. We contacted the team and found some Medium articles and stuff like that. So Epico could be a good play. It could be. Yeah,
market cap is under 1 million now, guys. It's super, super cheap.
Yeah, I was a little unsure about the tokenomics, but basically the most, like the team holds like 50%, but that won't be unlocked for well over a year. So the rest of it will get unlocked in various aspects at 20% quarterly over the next 5 quarters. So the max you could project out for like a year is like a 50% circulating supply for Epico. That's really good for a gaming token. So, with a small market cap like that, I think I did, if Epico hit a $30 million market cap, gosh, I don't have the numbers right on. It was a big gain, though. It was like over 30x, which is good. And I look at the time frame that I'm looking at, what you could kind of project that market cap. And we always do the math on the circulating supply. So we don't just say, okay, at a $780 million or $780,000 market cap, Epico hit 100 million, it would be that times what we try to project what the circulating supply would be. That's a good thing with OMI. It's all in circulating supply. So that's good. That's an advantage that things in their second market cycle have. And I don't doubt the power of I mean, if they could just get the, interoperability, all those kinds of things out there, then absolutely, I would love for it to blow up. I'll be a buyer. If I see it on chart looking strong, then I'll buy it for sure.
Awesome. Looks like we found some common ground. And so I think everyone here is quite diversified except for Mr. Randy there. And I was in Randy's shoes not last year, before 2022. I held 100% of my money in OMI. I think I had 220 million OMI at that point. And as you know, I don't hold as much now, but I still have a lot of OMI. It's still OMI is my biggest altcoin other than Bitcoin, right? Obviously, Bitcoin's not an altcoin, but and Bitcoin's flying, guys. Bitcoin is flying.
47.
Yeah, 47,000, right? And I think a lot of us expect to get to 50,000 in the next few days before or around the announcement, and then. Ron, I saw you've got a paid group that I recently joined. Danny got me into it, and on there you had some thoughts in there, and I think you shared a video basically with one of the guys was explaining that he doesn't think it's going to be a sell the news event like usual, and there'll be a few people selling off, but majority of people will probably hold, and the people that are selling off are going to lose out because they probably will lose their position.
Well, like leading up to this, when you see it all over Twitter, it's a selling news. Well. It like if you look on chart, Bitcoin hadn't pumped since like early December. but that still gave it enough to look good on chart on weekly and monthly time frames. So what is sell the news? Because it wasn't pumping. So like, what's the news is going to be sold? You know, there's no euphoria in the market. Now it's pumping now right before the news. But I mean, the ETF approval is in 2 days. And I've done some streams and talked about the ETF a lot because a lot of people have a misunderstanding of it because they can't kick the can down the road. The only way they can kick the can down the road is to reject just ARC 21. And then ARC 21 would presumably get back in line. And then the next date is March 10th. But you know, that's not what they're going to say. You know, I feel like 95% is going to get approved. And a lot of people just have a misunderstanding of it. But it's not going to. So I feel like on the approval, like it's going to pump kind of like what you're seeing now. And then upon trading, I think then that's why you might see the slide, because then kind of the euphoria is come and gone. The halving still a few months out, because I don't think it's going to be a huge influx of money to the market. I think it's more bullish for Bitcoin long term. And it gives it the legitimacy and everything like that. And then it's going to be like, you know, 2% of this fund, 3% of that fund. But the seed money from the start, I mean, I don't see that as something that's going to massively pump the price of Bitcoin in itself. That's why I don't see it as quite the sell the news event, but maybe a sell the once it starts going active. I mean, we could definitely expect, you know, a 20%. So if Bitcoin hits 50,000 and then gets chopped, you know, slides down to 40,000, that's a 20% drop. So, I mean, that's something that you could expect. And that's going to punch alts in the gut. If Bitcoin goes down 20%, that might not sound like much now, like 50,000 to 40,000. But that's the thing about playing this game. It's in an uptrend on higher time frames. So, and that's what everybody's scared of. You don't know where it's going to stop at. So then it's going to retrace. So that's a situation I could see happening. I don't really like to make like projections real far out like that. I just try to take it a week at a time and look at whatever assets I'm invested in at the weekly close. And if there's a lot of volatility during a day, like a strong daily candle, then I'll take that into account. But I don't care about hourly candles and stuff like that. The open of the New York session, price goes up or down. Like, I don't really concern myself too much with that.
Ron, I would like to know, you said you hold about 40 to 50 projects. So are you planning to sort of ride most of those out towards the peak of the market? Or are you going to just get out as you go?
You kind of see what's going on in the Telegram group. I mean, I'm a real active market participant. I got all kinds of different targets. I mean, I do a lot. I check on chain like every day for stuff coming out. I post some of those things on Twitter, like when the gang, like I posted no gas today, you know, and you can see on Telegram, I posted the day it came out. I said, hey, you know, this project had a $100,000 market cap, was over $1 million today. So for things like that, I'm not looking necessarily to hold no gas for the top of the bull run. Everything in my possession, I'm not looking to hold for the bull run. Something like Medicaid, I'm not trying to go by that, but like for my goals for that, because I think it is a good project that can do like big exits. And one reason I say that is because for a gaming project in its first cycle to all be in circulating supplies, I don't know of another gaming project like that. And that's top shelf and top quality team and all those kinds of things. That's why I go back to Medicaid a lot. I'll say there's nothing on chart right now that makes me think Medicaid's about to spike or anything. So Medicaid is like a value play for me. And then I look at other higher cap alts and like I'll take moves that I think that are breaking out of patterns and I'll put targets out on them and I'll try to, you know, get that and then maybe roll those into blue chips or things that I see coming out on chain. So there's a lot of different ways I play this game.
Okay, so there's some that you're going to hold, like Medicaid as an example, for longer, and then there's a lot of them that you're going to sell. You'll sell as they go up.
Yeah, and I update that a lot about when I'm selling, when I'm buying, or even sometimes if we're up 3 or 4 or 5x on something, I'll say, hey, you know, it's a good time to buy or sell. You know, if you want to win, you want some dry powder in the tank to have in case there's a dip. You know, this is a good time to sell this project. You know, maybe I'm going to degen it and hold it a little bit longer. You know, I find a lot of new AI projects. And I think that a lot of those are coming out now that could boom in the next few months.
Yeah, I saw there's a lot of AI projects that actually I got into, I think it's AI tech, and
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm up, like I put $1,500 in, and it's now at about $5,000. So yeah, thanks for getting me that call.
What you put in?
I appreciate it.
How much did you put in?
I'm up about 2.5 to 3x now.
Oh, nice.
And that was Ern's. So there's 2 other guys up there that are like pro level traders, and they got their own things going on. And Ern, he's kind of making a name for himself with some of the calls as well. But he's put out with AI tech and TET. So he said buy TET at $10. Then like right then after that, it went parabolic, went up to 50. he said, all right, the pullback's going to come down to 31, and that's exactly where it did, and now it went off again.
Awesome. And Danny the Bull, is there any picks that you like at the moment?
Yeah, I got in hard on TET at $9-10. I saw it in the Telegram. Viral had commented on it. BB Viral was in there, and he commented on it. And I looked up the small cap report in there, and it checked off a number of the boxes that I like. Scaling solution for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to be front and center. Obviously, a narrative this cycle with the ETF, fastest blockchain. I love that narrative, and those tend to get to good valuations. Those layer ones. So I jumped in hard on TET, and that did like Ron said, a quick 4x. So I got in just at the right time. I like Mint Layers, another scaling solution.
I got Mint Layer as well. I got a lot of Mint Layer.
Mint Layer, and that recently did a 2x, I think, in the last. It's following TET, and that's oftentimes, this is what happens is people look for like what's next in the same sector and whatnot. And a lot of
I saw Mint Layer at like, I don't know, a much lower market cap. I was like, oh, that looks interesting.
Yeah.
But the 8%, I think, circulating supply was scaring me off. So I didn't touch it, and now it did like a 4x since then. I got in. I'm up already, but I
read those reports that we do up there, because that we break down if the circulating supply is a concern or anything like that. Like, we really do a good job of untangling the tokenomics of these projects.
Yeah, that's important, right? Because a lot of new people to crypto, they don't understand tokenomics, and they just see a price and they buy. And they get wrecked because they don't understand that it's unlocking like 50% supply in the next month or whatever it is. And so, it's really important.
Lots of people recommend projects, and then when I kind of unfold them, like the project does sound good, but like Crypto Rain would probably agree with this. Like, book is one on ADA, and as a person, I love to read. I love books, and it's a project that. It decentralizes your ebooks, because their point is like you don't own your ebooks, so this way you own them and you sell them or whatever. So yeah, that sounds great. But then when I look at the tokenomics, I didn't like the tokenomics, but then I look at the book market itself, and actually when you look at the market of books, its vast majority is still paper. So it's a small percentage of a market, and then bad tokens. So it's just like all over. Yeah, it sounds good at on a Twitter post, but when you really open it up, it's not always that good. Just because something sounds good doesn't mean it always is. I try to look at I look at sector a lot. I try to diversify my bag by different sectors. I put gaming / metaverse at the top, then AI. I think scaling solutions are going to be big this time. Then more like towards the bottom of the list, I put DEX coins or DEX exchange coins, maybe media, because media in crypto, it hasn't really shown any strength yet. I think most of media projects, when I say media, like Theta, even kind of like VRA, a lot of them have been disappointing and kind of fell flat. So anyway, I just look at sector a lot, and I try to things I'm going to hold, especially I take into account like what I allot to each sector. Privacy is another one in the top 5 probably. So yeah.
That's interesting. Right.
One of the things that we're really doing when we're investing in crypto is one of two things, which is early stage business investing, which is the approach I take, which is basically, like you said, Ron, you're looking at, does blockchain even make sense for this? Okay, our book readers, it's cool that you can have ownership on a book. How much translation is that going to get in the coming bull market? Now, it might actually not have much translation. And yet if it hits hype, because there's a second part of crypto, which is understanding and following hype. I don't go in that section because that is the predictability on that's not high enough, for the same reason I don't go to the casino. But the casino is actually somewhat predictable that, 48.5% of the time you're going to lose when you play blackjack. Or whatever it is.
If you follow the rules, you're right. And you can count cards, and you can get it about 50, a little bit over 50.
Right. If you count cards, whereas like the reason I like the area that I do is the predictability is somewhat high. So generally we have a 4-year trend. When the general market is down, if you take solid businesses that are doing the right things and they have enough runway that they probably won't go out of business until like the next bull market comes, then your predictability of them not failing is somewhere between 70 to 95%. And if they succeed, your chances of gains aren't you just double your money, you often will 10x, 50x, or 100x. So essentially you're in something where the odds can be stacked in your favor when you're analyzing and you're making good, smart decisions rather than like, that's why I stay away from meme coins and everything, right? I don't know if Elon Musk is going to all of a sudden tweet about XYZ meme coin. And you're really hoping on that hype catching because there's no fundamentals behind it. There's not a real business use case that drives anything. The book use case was a good thing to bring up. Will that run? I don't know. The narrative itself might run. Will that business survive? I imagine in the coming 10 years that books will be on the blockchain, but probably Amazon's going to do it. Why? Because who's going to buy from the smaller company? Now, could they make money in this coming bull run as people throw money at everything? Probably, and they probably will. But is the predictability good enough? Like, what does their runway look like? What does their tokenomics look like? What's the likelihood that they survive? How strong is the team? What things are they doing to get out there to get better known? Okay, they're only on Cardano. Like, I actually did buy some of their books. It was a special selection that they only had so many mints and you had to be at the ADA conference to get them. And so it immediately 10x, but that's the only reason I bought them, is they had some special things about it. Have I invested in any of their tokens? Not a single one, because is their predictability and the potential upside good enough? I think if they survive from now till now, then they probably only have to survive 6 to 9 months before we'll be in the bull run. They'll do pretty well. But will they do pretty well versus some of the other alternatives? That's the bigger question.
Yeah. Because like circulating supply, some of these have low circulating supply, but they won't be like this bull run. Maybe it's only 20% or 30% will be released. So, who cares? The other 70% down the road, I'm not going to hold that long to where like book, it all gets released in like the first year, I think, or something to that effect. But I think meme coins, like, I don't think you should hold meme coins long term. I don't really consider Doge a meme coin. I consider Doge Elon Musk crypto. But I don't think meme coins are good holds. But I think people have a misunderstanding of meme coins. And it goes to some of the things we were talking about with overhead. So meme coins, say they're made by a group, like a Telegram group, like I have, that's where these things can come out of. And their only purpose is to make money. So that's why when people wonder, like, well, how is it possible for OMI not to be on a big exchange? Well, they have a lot of overhead they have to deal with. So these meme coins, that's why like Pepe been out and hardly any time is on Binance. People are like, how is this possible? Well, the revenue they bring in is only used to make more revenue. They don't have overhead. They don't have a project. It's all just, to make more money. So meme coins, I think they're okay, but I don't agree with like holding them for, months and stuff like that. Get in and get out. Don't be afraid to sell them, and don't always try to catch the top. Like Bonk, I got in on Bonk like mid November and I sold at $700 million market cap. I said, it'll probably hit $1 billion, but I made a good gain on it. I'm gonna roll this money into something else. It's a meme coin, just get in, get out, and put it into something worthwhile that you believe in.
Awesome. So Randy, what have you been investing in lately in VV? I want to bring it back around a little bit more to the VV chat. We've got
sure. Marvel Mighties, because they have like one drop per month this year for the first quarter, and then April, and then we have I became number 2 in all of VV to get the most sub 100 Marvel collectibles. So that was a big accomplishment that I did. Outside of that, that's really it. It's really just that. And if I can get another logo, I'll get a gold VV logo. But
and that Marvel Mighty drop, it sold out instantly, was it, or within an hour?
No, it didn't sell out. It did good. It made like 110,000, maybe 115 now because it's been a day, but it didn't sell out. But it still did a decent amount, which I'm fine with.
I had the biggest ROI on everything that I sold at the BB Bull Run. Mighties is what I had the biggest ROI on.
Yeah, Mighties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mighties
cool. Bucky Barnes, but I think Bucky Barnes, because he's the rare and he's like the same price. Well, I haven't looked at it in a little while, but he was like the same price as like the rest of them, but he was rare, so his supply was lower. And I can't remember what it was, but I did real good on having a bunch of Bucky Barnes.
Bucky, is it that the Winter Soldier? Is that right?
No, it's like. Yeah, well, I know it was the first edition.
Yeah, so the one he's talking about is the Captain America version of Bucky Barnes. The one that we just got last month was Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes. Like he's an Avenger in that set.
Yeah. Because so he's got a long timeline, right, in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, he actually I think is by the time his contract's done, he'll have been in like the most movies, like more than anyone else, and more projects.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's freaking wild.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, we've got a ton of comments here. Looks like the team is still waiting for regulation clarity. I think that's referring to Ecomi. So
I'm sure.
Yeah, we've speculated before that that the reason we haven't got exchanges yet is because of some legal implications, but we're not really sure. It's just speculation. Hopefully, we get a big exchange for OMI in the next few months. I'm hoping something to the Crypto XR event would be nice. We've got people in the comments going crazy.
See him?
Let's see.
So somebody said cock is the next meme coin for this year, COQ, and it had like a rooster.
Yeah, Danny's got that.
I want to get in that just for the lols.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people got into it already.
It's the first meme coin on AVAX, so that's what brings it significance, and it's a great meme.
Yeah, because you want to get a big cock. I mean,
yeah, you already have one, Jordan, right?
Right.
You already have one.
I have a tiny cock.
Yeah, same.
I think I've got like a $200 or $300 bag of it. Like
we're talking about bags. Never mind.
What are you talking about, Randy?
It still never felt the warmth of a woman.
We got some comments here. General 6T. Ron, where do people find you? I mean, I haven't checked your links in yet, but I'm going to put your links in the description.
Yeah, so. Jordan said he put my links in the description, but you can find me on Twitter. My handle is Crypto Ghost, and the reason why it's Crypto Ghost is because when I first made the Twitter account, I remember when I was making it, I said to the person in the room with me, I said, I'm gonna be like a ghost on Twitter. I'm just here for the crypto news. So I never planned to have a following or anything like that, but one thing led to another. So. But Ron's Crypto Therapy, that's the name. And that's also my YouTube channel as well. And there's a link to my Telegram on my Twitter page.
Yep. Is that Randy? That's Kim. Is that what you say? You said you got to get.
I guess there's competition.
Yeah. So Kim's the Jim. Actually, he's the main admin in the Telegram group. He's very beneficial. I can't appreciate him enough.
Wait, so bring that up. So don't get COQ. Get the new version, micro COQ.
I think it's got a better chance of running because cock's already run. But
here's a sign when to sell COQ. When people stop making cock jokes, dump it. That's letting you know it's stale.
They'll never stop making those jokes.
I know that's the beauty of it.
Maybe to keep.
We've got a question here. Hal T's curious if Ron thinks OMI will hit all-time high.
So I did a OMI video on YouTube like a while back talking about some of the things I feel with OMI. And I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes when I say I don't think OMI is a slam dunk. I think it's up to the team. That if they do these things that they've been talking about for a long time, then yeah, it'd do great. But other than that, I don't think it's a slam dunk. If they don't, that they have to do it like soon. That it would get over 0.005. That's possible if they don't do the things that they need to.
Interesting.
I wanted to share just some thoughts on that. Like, crypto runs in narratives. And so, for example, I was covering Myria 2.5 months ago, and it was floating around 0.0011 cents, between that and 0.0017 cents. And I had some viewers, and I was saying blockchain gaming is going to hit. And when it does, and we haven't even seen that. We only saw a taste of it. And one of the viewers said, I'm not going to buy Myria until they release an actual game. And so they're like, until Myria does XYZ, it won't pump. And they don't understand crypto at all. All that has to happen is the blockchain gaming narrative hit. And then it doesn't matter. Myria still has not produced a single game, and yet they went like 15x from that price. Why? Because the narrative hit. You know what hasn't hit? Digital collectibles. So some people say, OMI's not going to run unless they get on another exchange. That's not true. That's completely incorrect. And they're just new enough. They just don't know. It's not like they're dumb. All that has to happen is the digital collectibles narrative hits, and then Veve or OMI is going to run like crazy. You're going to see the Flow blockchain running like crazy. You'll see Chili's running like crazy. And Ecomi could do nothing more than what they've done, and their price would instantly 10 or 20x on just a smaller run like what we just had with blockchain gaming. And that narrative is going to hit. And Ecomi is like one of the leading projects in that narrative. In fact, they have some of the top IP out there. So when it hits, they're well positioned to ride that tsunami that will come. Cool. Like I know, like because we follow it, it's hard to be patient. It was like, oh my gosh, why are they not on any exchanges? Why this? Why this? I'm really just waiting for the blockchain gaming or the blockchain like digital collectibles narrative to hit, and that's when Ecomi goes big. And if that coincides with the bigger run, when people are just FOMOing into everything, then it goes really, really big.
Interesting. So Bill Garner here says that when OMI runs up in his other cryptos, he's going to sell for real world assets. What do you guys think about eventually turning your crypto gains into real estate or something like that? Is that the best bet for most of you?
Well, you haven't made anything if you don't actually take your gains out and put them to the side, because, you know, those stories you hear about so-and-so bought so much of Doge or they bought so much of this meme coin and they made 2 million. They rarely made those millions because you know what they didn't do? They didn't sell. And they didn't put them into stables. They rolled it into some other meme coin, which they then lost on. And so they don't really make anything.
Yeah. I mean, last run, that's what I did. I held the bag at over $1.2 million. Randy was there too. Shake is nodding there. Randy and I both held our bags, and we should have at least sold some of it, right? Like maybe half. But you live and you learn.
Yeah, probably a good idea to get a small apartment. And this way, just have that, and then if I you know it continues to run, get a house and then rent out the apartment, you know, do whatever.
And Danny, did you have a different opinion for what you're going to do with your crypto gain?
Yeah, I'm going to extract as much money as I can from the market in the next couple of years, and I'm not looking to buy real estate. I'm just looking to live a comfortable life, and you know.
But as a scenario, say you've got $2 million spare and you've already paid off all your debt. You got no debt. You got $2 million. Are you going to leave that in cash, fiat, or are you going to try?
No, I would earn some passive income with it. Yeah, I would do something to earn some passive income with it, and yeah.
I wouldn't
hold it in cash. That's wasting away.
I probably wouldn't buy real estate with it right now, but holding to have that, you know, money. My first come up was on real estate. You know, I actually posted. You might have seen it, Danny or Jordan. Even I posted that check. I mean, in the Telegram group. That was my first come up. You know, and that was off real estate. I made some money off real estate, but you know, it's, you know, like all these things. You know, it's timing. You know, so
yeah, real estate just isn't for me, man. You know, it's just not my thing, and to take care of places and all that, and
you just hire someone to take care of it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, but it's just not I'm not interested.
Well, land, you know, that was what I made the first come up on, was actual land. You know, you've probably heard the saying before, you know, buy land because God's not making any more of it. And I do think that's true. So properties and rental stuff, that's not really my thing. But if I find a good piece of land, I'll buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to address, Jordan, if you could scroll up to Becca's comment. It says crypto rain is too emotionally attached to the project to be able to zoom out and analyze the token properly. That's what people said about me 3 years ago on Cardano, when Cardano was at 3 cents and then 1.7 cents. And the general consensus by everybody in the crypto space was Cardano is going to fail. Cardalano, they called it. And so I'm not afraid to take positions. They're actually rational and well thought out. Everyone else is the actual ones being emotional about it. Why? People that are fudding on OMI, like, it is totally an emotional thing right now. It is not a rational, logical conclusion. I mean, look at the charts. That's exactly what a bottom pattern looks like. That's exactly what a solid base for a massive launch looks like. Cool. We will see 9 months from now, a year from now, we'll know who was right and who was wrong on this. And look, I've been doing crypto for 7 years. I did real estate investment for 20 years prior to that. I am wrong sometimes. It's just not very often. And maybe I'm wrong on this, but the odds are massively stacked in my favor. And those are the types of bets that I take. And so my odds of being wrong on this are like 10%. And so cool. Maybe it does play out against me. That's cool. Diversification is a good thing for that. But really what it'd take for me to be wrong on that is the SEC going after Ecomi or massive additional lawsuits. And someone did say Ecomi's got a lot of lawsuits. A lot of that has to do with Ben Cadenzi, right? When you bring in, Ben was the one that was like paying people to shill crypto or OMI. They didn't even know what OMI was. And that kind of shiz, like, thankfully they severed from somebody like that. I don't like people like that in the crypto space. And so probably it didn't fit with their greater ethos and they had to find a way to kind of sever from him. And, You know, people like that, you don't sever from them easy. And they made Ecomi pay. You know, they were young and naive, and they launched the project with this great vision, and it worked out really, really well. But then they had to sever from some high conflict people, is my guess of what Ben probably is. And so Ben has used the opportunity to sue him and take a whole bunch. Okay, well, yeah, it's kind of like a bad divorce. Sometimes it's worth the happening that you get from a divorce to not have that person in your life.
Thanks, Anwar.
Yeah,
So,
awesome.
Jordan, if you remember, I said I could only stay like 45 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, damn,
Yeah.
45 already.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I got a meeting I have to go to, unfortunately, like in real life thing I have to do, unfortunately. But it was really good to be up here with you guys. And I guess, you know, because if anybody thinks like disagreements and stuff like that, I don't see it like that at all. Because I guess my mindset is the market is like a living thing, and nothing is for sure. Like, it's not for sure Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000. It's not for sure it's going to make a new all-time high. It's not for sure. I think we'll hit 50,000. I mean, markets like to hit round numbers, but you know, nothing is for sure. So it's kind of sounds counterintuitive that I don't look at smaller time. I mean, not say I never look at small time frames, but I go off weekly charts, but I just take it a week at a time, because a week is a bigger time frame chart. But I just look at it a week at a time and make the decisions that way. And I think gaming / metaverse will have the best gains. And I have reasons why I say that, but I don't know that. And I don't know anything for sure. So I don't know that NFTs will come back this cycle. I don't know that, you know, any of these things, but I stay plugged into the space, you know, probably as well as anybody that I know of, just as well as anybody I know of. And I'm up at 4:00 in the morning. You know, I take a cold shower and hop on Decrypt and read the news and stuff like that. But I don't think that anything is a given in this market. And I think that's some people's problem with crypto, is like they think, well, if I just buy this one crypto and I hold it for a long time, then I'll become a multimillionaire. And that's just not always the same case. And like, I think most of us all preach, you know, diversification is key. You spread your funds out, and you're more likely to hit the home runs. But, you know, I appreciate you letting me come on, Jordan. It was really fun talking to you guys. You know, maybe I shoot some of you guys a DM and continue some of this stuff later.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron.
Bye,
Really
Ron.
appreciate you coming on. Yeah, good to
Peace
see
out,
you.
Ron.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Well,
That was
what I
really
like
fun.
is Ron does understand that really we're just taking bets, right? And we're trying to take bets where the odds are stacked in our favor. And not everyone agrees with the way I go. The way I go is just very specific, like early stage business investing, like the meme coins, all that stuff. I don't take bets on those because predictability is too low. And it is funny. Dr. Stuff brought up something from Fidelity because of Dr. Stuff's line of work. He knows this kind of stuff. But Fidelity wanted to dig in and see who their most successful traders were at Fidelity. And they found out all their dead people were their most successful traders. And they were their most successful traders because they held good positions and they didn't trade them all the time. And so they outperformed all the living people who were trading all the time. And it literally is take good positions and hold them, not forever in crypto, because we do have this 4-year cycle. Like the stock market cycles are much longer than in crypto. But generally buying when things are bottomed in the bear market, and we're leaving the bear market, entering the bull market. So that time window of when to really accumulate is ending. And then we're going to be in taking profits and selling zone over this coming year. And if you don't, you're going to get left holding some bags. But I don't believe a lot in the trading week to week or quick trades. And the reason is because I don't know anybody who's made millions in crypto doing that. Nobody.
Yeah, I don't move in and out. I don't move in and out of positions. You have to be really, really dialed into that and know what you're doing. Most people lose money trading in and out. So I have the same mindset and mentalities. I build my positions and hold them until it's time to sell, and then layer out the way I layer in.
Yeah, until the narrative hits really strong, right? Like it really is as simple as identifying a solid project has good chances of winning while everybody is ignoring it. And then you like Flow Blockchain is a great one right now. OMI, I think, is an even better one because the market cap's longer. And a lot of people don't agree with me on this. Fine. I can't wait to see how this pans out, because this is the type of position at the type of price that I love. Like this is the golden child, like that type of deal. And then I just wait till the narrative hits. We recently saw what happens when the blockchain gaming narrative hit just a little bit. And these things just absolutely popped off. Games that nobody even heard of went 15x on their tokens. And so that's what we do. And then when, you know, the narrative hits really hard, that's when you start selling. When you start hearing people say, it'll never stop going up, then that's when I start getting concerned and I sell. Because like right now, the general position on most people that have been following OMI is that OMI is dead. And I love to hear that. That is like when I hear that, that's what I heard. Like a lot of people look back at the charts and they say, I would have bought Cardano in 2020, in March of 2020. And the truth is they would not have, because the general consensus in crypto was that Cardano was dead. And so the same people that are buying OMI now, they probably would have been buying Cardano then. But like the general consensus was Cardano was dead. It's not going to survive. Cardano, Charles Hoskinson got kicked off the team. He doesn't know what he's doing. This was all the things being said. It was just generally accepted that this was all true. But the fundamentals behind Cardano were really strong. And so I invested a whole bunch into Cardano and it went 100x from there. Cool. Had I had some money liquid when it went to 1.7 cents, well, it went 200x from that point. So Ecomi is in a similar position to where Cardano was. And whenever I say that, people say, oh my gosh, they're not even the same. Cardano's a layer 1 blockchain and OMI's not. Well, duh. You're right. The blockchain purpose behind their token is totally different, yet the FUD is super high. And if you can't see the parallels between that, that's cool. Let's revisit this discussion in 9 months and we'll see, was Rain right?
OMI's not dead. Yeah, it's not dead. It's going to have its day. And, you know, I think for me, I think it's important to be open to multiple outcomes, right? We don't know what's going to happen and we need to be open to different possibilities. I think it's going to go up. I think it'll do a 10x. I think it could do a 20x. It could do a 30x or 50x. But there's also the possibility that it doesn't make a new all-time high, is part of my thinking, just based off of, you know, history and how the whole space works. And so, you know, I still love OMI and I still like the project, but I'm not convinced it's going to break an all-time high.
Yeah.
So if you say you're not convinced that that'd be like 100%, it's definitely going to. So are you like 70% sure it'll break all-time high?
I don't put percentages. I don't really. I don't like. I can't quantify it in terms of like percentage. I just, you know, in studying the space and in knowing, like understanding. So we talk about the technology and we talk about projects, but it's not really how crypto doesn't quite work like that. They're like pumpamentals, right? It's like things pump off of for different reasons. And oftentimes it's the shiny new object, the shiny new coin. These things pump hardest. And if you look at, I was looking at the top 100 coins from last cycle to see how many of them from the previous broke all-time highs in their next cycle. It's about 20% of tokens, older, you know, legacy tokens, older tokens will make a new all-time high in their second cycle. If you look at something like, you know, Stellar last year was a top 30 project, still didn't break its previous all-time high. Dash was a top 100 project, didn't break a previous all-time high. We know XRP didn't, but we know why it didn't. That's not to say that it can't happen. It's to say that we should be prepared for multiple outcomes. And there's a very good chance, I think, OMI, you know, goes to 3 cents, 5 cents. I think the fundamentals are there, right? The narrative is there. The fundamentals are there. The partnerships are there. But we also, I think it's important to be open to the idea that it doesn't get there, because if it doesn't play out, if we're dead set and locked in on 5 cents and it doesn't play out as expected, that's how bag holders are created, because you're not selling at the right time. And so that's my take on it. You know, I'm bullish. I like it, but I'm open to different ideas.
I've really good shout here.
The top 100 coins, and you say like, hey, these 20% of them only got to their all-time highs or higher. How many of the coins that didn't get to their all-time highs were encumbered with lawsuits and migrating to different chains in the previous cycle? I don't think any of them were.
I don't think that really matters. I think we're so dialed into OMI. I think we are so dialed into OMI. It's like what people were saying about, like Rain was saying about utility. Like most tokens, like Myriad didn't have a game, and OMI doesn't have. Even if it doesn't have utility, it'll ride the wave, the narrative up. I think there are things that have held OMI back. it still has some of that baggage. It still carries some of that for the people who have been here. But I think that there are a couple of reasons why. One is there aren't any bag holders for any of these new coins. Anyone who's in any, Naka, Miria, playable games, if you're not up, you're not far from being up. And so you're riding that up. Whereas you have people who have been holding bags for a long period of time with legacy tokens that have been out for a while. And so they look to, you get stronger levels of resistance on the way up.
Well,
Naka had a lot of bag holders because they launched back in 2021, and so there's a bunch of people upside down on them. And so those bag holders in OMI are gonna get, like, there will be some sell pressure as people like sell out. But like, I followed like Dash closely because when I was brand new in crypto in 2017, everyone was talking about Dash and getting a Dash node, and it had gone from $2 to like $800. And it's like, if you had gotten a Dash node, you were rich. But Dash's technology didn't stay up to date. They're essentially their own blockchain where you could get a node. But that means they're also competing against ETH, which has way more utility. And they're competing against Bitcoin as a store of value. And who cares if you can have a node if nobody needs the Dash token for anything else? So they didn't stay relevant. Now, Stellar Lumens could go huge with the ISO 222 standards coming out, and it finally becomes relevant. So I don't know on Stellar Lumens. It didn't perform very well because it's like, what is its use case? And its use case hadn't like become apparent. There was no narrative around it to make it run. So the reason why I'm still a believer in, because you're not wrong on that. There's a lot of things that their second run, like Cardano's second run was 2021, and it did tremendous.
Did very well. Yeah.
And so like its previous all-time high had been like $1.40, and it only 4 or 3x its previous all-time high. Cool. That was kind of
2x. I think it went to 270 or
no, it went to 340. Cardano did. I remember it on the exchanges right at 340. Like, even though the charts don't show it, yes, it went all the way.
But what didn't close, right? It didn't close on the day, right? Yeah.
I don't know. It might have closed on the day, but it wasn't like on the week, right? Because it was just there for so short, right? So, like, is OMI going to not exceed its previous highs? Well, there were a few things that came together that made its rise like epic, right? The fact that people couldn't get their tokens off of their apps to be able to sell them as the price went crazy. And so the price probably went higher than it otherwise would have, probably by a tune of like 4x. Cool. So does that mean like OMI won't even hit its next all-time high? I think they're in a narrative that is going to go massive. This idea of digital collectibles is one of the most transformative narratives, because who the hell has more storage space for all the physical collectibles? And as collectors start to get an idea of digital collectibles, which they will as the whole world is thinking about Bitcoin, and then people who collect already are going to turn their focus into these digital collectibles like they never have, because everyone's going to get this crypto fever. And I don't disagree with Ron on blockchain gaming. Blockchain gaming is a narrative I've been like saying since long before this previous run of 2 months ago. I'm just disappointed this previous run happened because all the blockchain gaming things were massively underpriced prior to that. I like massively underpriced. Now the prices aren't as underpriced, so it's not as fun because the prices have gone 5 to 15x. Blockchain gaming is a narrative that will go probably exceed everything else from its pre-October prices. From where they are now, I don't know. Digital collectibles is a narrative that is massive and cool. Nobody's thinking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Just like when I was talking about blockchain gaming, half the people didn't believe me. No, who cares? Blah, blah, blah. Digital collectibles will go absolutely gigantic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with
any thoughts on David?
So Adam says NFTs are dead, and I don't know
are not dead. He says
with NFTs.
He says are not dead.
Oh, are not dead. Okay, yes.
Yeah,
I don't know what will happen. Like, I think Bored Apes will get some traction, everything, but like this whole idea of like profile pic NFTs, like new projects coming out and doing huge, I have no idea whether that's going to happen. That's more of a hype play. That was like really big in 2021, and really the use case of a Bored Ape was you could make your profile pic of it, and if you had one as your profile pic, then you were someone. So it hit high enough status that it was essentially a social flex. And there will be some other social flex NFT projects. Generally, I don't do regular NFTs. I like Veve because it has some of the top intellectual property. I like NBA Top Shots, NFL All Day, UFC Strike. I haven't bought any of the Chili stuff just because I don't know enough about football, like, and how, like, international football, like what in the US they call soccer. I just don't know enough about, like, the players and which of those collectibles, but this idea of digital collectibles is going to be huge. Although within Veve, right, like, be careful what you buy. Some of the stuff in there isn't going to do very well. So, like, buy the stuff that's like a first appearance of a major character, and it gives you better than average odds.
Yeah, I don't think Bigfoot or any of the Cryptkins is gonna, like, 6x. That's probably. I mean, some might, like the ultra rare, whatever that is, complete that. But most of those, I don't think are gonna do well at all.
Mo Collection 31 says it's clear now since Apple Vision Pro announced release, like, this is going to be huge. Like, Apple, and they're already releasing working on their second one. As Apple gets into this game and Meta gets into this game, and then people are thinking about metaverses and 3D collectibles and everything, and they don't have to store these in their house. Like, it's going to be a big deal, and you will have a FOMO run that is absolutely crazy. I think some of that FOMO run goes to Veve, and therefore it then goes into OMI, even if Ecomi doesn't get a single additional exchange. Eventually, Coinbase will be approaching them and saying, please, can we list OMI?
I mean, you could already use it on Coinbase Wallet, and that's where it's a lot easier for some people to get it.
And I'm talking about, like, Coinbase, so people in the US can just buy it straight on Coinbase without having to worry about send it to, like, Bitforex or anything.
Awesome. So the Apple Vision Pro is coming out Feb 10th. That's going to be a bit of a game changer. And I'm pretty sure Ecomi and Veve have already said they're going to be able to have their app on the store.
Yeah, when it comes out, they said they'll work on it. Or I guess when they release the ability to work on it, they can start working on it. I don't know if that happened yet.
That would be so cool to be able to like walk around your room and put all your collectibles wherever you like them.
For people expecting that, I wouldn't expect that right away. Like, not on, like, launch day. I would expect that maybe X amount of months after they launch, that you'll be able to get a Veve app, because they have to build, they have to do stuff.
That would be. Really
but
cool.
You mentioned David's pancakes. Let's talk about breakfast.
Yeah. So we've got several comments about that, actually. I don't know where it was now. But what do we think about it? Do we think it's just David having a bit of fun?
Yeah, I think he's just eating some pancakes flavored as Pokemon pancakes and posting a pic for fun.
Because, I mean, I saw a lot of comments and some people were very disgruntled, like, why does David keep teasing us? It's been like 3 years. Come on, David. And then somebody else said that Pokemon Day is coming up as well. Anyone know what day that is?
February something.
Ooh.
Let me take a look. Well, there's a bunch of important dates in Pokemon. Like, let's say, for example, February 6th. Even though we know that Pokemon lay eggs, in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, if you go to Cinnabar Island and you get to see the abandoned laboratory down there, it's filled with Pokemon and books. That's where Mewtwo was made. And they say in one of the books, Mew gave birth on February 6th. So that's a big date in Pokemon. I think July, I forget the date in July, but July is when the lab was destroyed. But let me see when
it's
is
27th.
Pokemon.
I just looked it up. It's Feb 27th is Pokemon Day. So that's not far away. It's almost exactly a month after the Crypto XR event. So that's interesting.
That should be a national holiday.
As long as we have MCP points.
Pokemon Day?
Yeah, it should be a national holiday.
I missed Pokemon. I missed the whole Pokemon thing. I was born too soon.
Me too.
Too old for that.
Yeah, it's too bad that, like, for that, right? I was born in the G.I. Joe Transformer.
Yeah, I came up with the G.I. Joe's He-Man.
If you had held on to your Optimus Prime, it's worth like $200. But if you had held on to your Charizard, right, your early Charizard, it's worth way more.
I got a Castle Grayskull up there.
Yes. And they're like indestructible. I finally lost that after like 20 something moves, right? Where like it finally didn't make one of the moves.
I bought it at a convention last year. My father threw mine out when I was young.
I'm probably gonna go back and buy all those original toys. Yeah. Like I had the original Megatron, right? And like Castle Grayskull and just like have a room where I just have all these cool Legos, like the giant Millennium Falcon and like the giant slave one. And people will be like, what's this room for? And I'm like, I don't know. I just love it. Right. When I like just go in there and sit for a while and just reminisce and like all the good memories.
Kripkins to the moon.
Kripkins to the moon. I remember when they dropped, that was pretty cool. They were like the only thing on Veve, right? We had
Dude, I remember being so pumped about it because I love that stuff. Like I love Loch Ness Monster. I love Mothman. I remember being like on like a live stream one day, guys, you're gonna have all the freaks and geeks in the world coming to get this, and then it did. It's like New Jersey Devil went to like $300. I was like, see, and then
I remember that the Kripkins were worth so much money at one point, like just ridiculous money, because we had nothing else in the app. So all the
I still
money
hold the set, but I don't really expect that to go anywhere.
Yeah, no, they dropped and probably won't come back. That's all right. Hey, Rain, is Dapper Labs going to make their Moments viewable in AR?
I don't know to the extent that they can do it other than putting it like on a TV or a wall in AR, right? I would imagine Dapper Labs is pretty innovative and they did a good job with NBA Top Shots. Like what's funny about the story of NBA Top Shots, when they first came out, like nobody was talking about it. No, like it's a big deal that they get the NBA license, and yet it seemed like they were a scam because it's like nobody had heard of them. And when I was trying to research it, like I found some like small YouTube channels covering it, and they're like, yeah, they gave me 10 packs if I would cover this. And I was like, well, frick though, it's the NBA license. Gosh, I don't know. So I put about $1,100 into it. And sure enough, and you know, as the bull market hit, people were like, then what happened is some of the moments started going up in price. And guess what? The NBA players started collecting their moments of their friends and talking about it, as well as they ran ads for like 2 weeks. And they got so much momentum, it was shutting down their servers. They couldn't handle the traffic. So they stopped running ads and it blew up. And, you know, my $1,100 investment went to $185,000. And then it went all the way down to about 18,000 at the bottom. And it was like, it was fun to watch. And that kind of told me what would happen with Veve and Ecomi as I saw what their app had and how they had the first Batman on the blockchain and some other things. I was like, these collectibles are going to be huge. I was like, don't buy the OMI token. It's at the time it was at 0.25 cents, right? On its way to, it hit 1.4, but it's like, you missed it. You missed the big run. Buy these collectibles. So this first Batman on the blockchain, the rumor is that the Todd McFarlane is the first one out there. And so like, I think this is going to do really, really good. And it did. It went 200x from there. And so you could have bought it like for another month. It was on the store every day for like 80 gems. And what's funny is I had some audience members totally leave my channel because they're like, cover serious stuff, you know, get back to covering crypto projects instead of the stupid Batman stuff. There's very little that outperformed what that Batman did. And for me, I come into crypto for gains, right? So I don't care whether it's a Batman collectible. I don't care what it is. If it's a cane that an old man uses collectible, but if it's got solid reasons why it can 100 or 200x, well, then I'm interested.
Cane that an old man uses, eh? It's Lucius Malfoy's cane, which comes into his wand. Harry Potter stuff. It's a very famous cane in the Harry Potter world. I don't know if you've read or seen the movies.
Too old for that, man.
Never mind.
Yeah, so it's fun watching things go up in value, and there's been nothing like what's happened with crypto, and that we have the ability to front run Wall Street. Wall Street still to this day, in a major way, cannot get in until maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. And I do agree with Ron that normally you would think it would be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, but that's what like 80 to 90% of the commentators are saying. So they're probably wrong because like everyone's expecting that. So it's probably going to do pretty well, actually.
Yeah, and for me, it's all noise, right? If it sell the news, buy the rumor, whatever it is, because you know, I'm kind of like you in that just buy and hold. And all you guys, I think, we just buy and hold for long term. Doesn't really matter if it goes down in the short term. Halving's right around the corner, 90 days. Any sell-off is going to be bought up because when the trend is up and to the right long term, then dips are for buying.
100%. Yeah. So I've got a few different groups. I mean, and one of them is actually like a school friends group, but one of the guys there is a hardcore trader. He trades like every day. And it's really interesting to watch the different mentalities on trading and how it works. And as you guys know, like day trading is difficult to do. I think what Ron does is more like swing trading, and he does a lot more like short term to long term holds. But this guy, he's a good friend of mine. He does like day trades, like they're short time frames, and he's positive. But he didn't make a lot last year. But the last bull run, he made a ton of money. That said, you could have bought almost anything, just held, and probably made more gains than he made.
Less stressful too.
Well, one of my friends was a trader, right? And he has a channel, and his channel had 160,000 subscribers. And we were at Bitcoin's conference in June of 2021 together. And so we're talking, back then my audience, I had like 3,000 and he had 165,000. Plus he had all this paid stuff that people could join. And he was making $150,000 a month from his channel. And I was like, so what kind of returns are you making? He's like, I'm up 70% from a year ago. And I was like, what the fuck? 70%? And he's like, well, how high are you? I'm like, 15x. I'm like, oh my gosh. What the hell, right? So the opportunity cost to day trading is huge. The fact that, 98% of people don't do well with day trading. It's too hard to be completely emotionally unattached. It takes you so long. And in the meantime, you're missing these huge opportunities. Like what I like about the approach that I take is somebody with an IQ of 90 can do it. I know because someone with an IQ of 90 did do it in 2019, 2020 and made like $3 million into 2021. Why? Because it literally is like identify pretty good projects and you just buy them when everybody's fudding them. And he loaded up on Cardano. When the FUD would get higher, he'd literally just buy more. And he understood the simple concept of, well, I believe in Charles Hoskinson and what he's doing. And he was one of the co-founders of ETH. And this guy probably knows what he's doing. And that's what I'm betting on. And he just bought more and bought more and bought more. And then it went to like $3 million. And it's like, and so that methodology is something anyone can do, which is identify solid projects. Now, he didn't diversify, and that I don't agree with. Thank goodness he picked Cardano, which from the bottom 200x. Because if he had gone all in on, something else, it might not have gone near as well. Now, I had another friend that went all in on Cardano while I diversified, and I was a little bit upset with myself at first because he shot off like a rocket when Cardano, his sole bet, did amazing. And, but then like 4 months later or 5 months later, I eventually caught up to him and passed him. Why? Because diversification is good.
Rain, what's your thoughts on flow?
I like it. It's out of the narrative. Nobody's talking about it, but like, the power of these people. So realize that some of these NBA players and stuff, right? As they start talking about their VV collectibles, you'll see them talking about their VV collectibles when the price starts going crazy. But they'll also be talking about their NFL all day moments, their UFC strike moments, their other moments. They'll be talking about them. And then flow will go absolutely crazy. And so you have these people that have megaphones of audiences on Instagram and their own social media that will be telling their audiences about it, and you will see the collectibles go huge, and therefore, by extension, people will be like, oh, the Flow blockchain, NBA Top Shots is absolutely going crazy. And then they'll be loading up on the Flow blockchain just as a result of it. So it's way down on price. Nobody's thinking about digital collectibles. Everybody's flooding them like, it's never going to happen, blah, blah. Like Ecomi's one of them, right? Oh my gosh, unless they got on an exchange. Look, if they got on an exchange, maybe their price would be up 25 or 50% from where it is. I don't know about you guys. I like buying cheap as possible. So don't get on any exchanges for a while. Just survive until the bull market. I love the price went down. I bought another million like yesterday for like dirt cheap. It was amazing. And I'm grateful for these cheap prices. I don't want Ecomi to pump in the next 3 or 4 months. I want them to pump later as the digital collectibles narrative hits and, then go 100x from here. Perfect. That would be amazing.
Reggie,
pretty sure that's Foster.
Reggie is thinking that Ecomi was Foster. Well, I'm pretty sure he's doing videos for Ecomi on YouTube, so that would make sense logically.
I think they used the word mate, so I'm assuming it was Reese. Didn't they use mate.
Actually, no, he was definitely typing more like Foster, I think.
Oh yeah.
Very, very well punctuated.
No, Reese doesn't have good punctuation. Yeah, no period. Reese would have
That-
period. There's a comma and a period.
Yeah,
Definitely Foster.
yeah, that's Foster. I love Foster. I really grew a respect for him on his epic takedowns of Paul Barron's like short-sightedness, right? On Ecomi. For whatever reason, Paul Barron decided to get all emotional about Ecomi and stuff. And I don't know what really the story is behind that. But Foster did such epic takedowns that were so articulate. When I was reading that and some responses, I was just like, who is this guy? I love the way he thinks. This guy is brilliant. He missed his bigger calling life, which is a lawyer, right? To be able to articulate things that well.
Yes.
He could be a high-paid lawyer.
Yeah. So I'll go to you for this, Randy. What's the latest surrounding OMI news? What do we got?
So there was a big, or it wasn't a big, it was like we know that over the last couple of days we have gotten now the ability to get bronze tickets. So it's basically the same thing that we had back in August where they said, hey, hold OMI on your app and you'll get MCP points. Now it's if you continue to hold OMI on your app, you'll get MCP points and bronze tickets. We're likely not going to be able to use them up until Q2. There's a chance that we get an article later this quarter about how we're going to use them, what we're going to use them for. Maybe even use them in March, but likely not until Q2. But there's they had the Ecomi Notion site up until some point last year. And then at some point last year, they took that down in lieu because they were doing their own, they don't even do Medium articles anymore. They do their own specific VV blog articles and Ecomi blog articles. And when that got taken down, people were like, okay, VV and Ecomi now said there's not going to be any more OMI to land. And that'll never happen. When really they said, well, because of the regulatory landscape right now and trying to navigate the waters, we're just going to put that on the back burner. So they never said it's never going to happen, even though it might never happen. They just said that we're just putting it on the back burner for now. So when they said that, I think that would have been a pretty good opportunity to go and say, hey, also, we're going to shelve X, Y, and Z, shelve these things. But they didn't. And in that Ecomi Notion site, they had all these things. They had OMI to Gem, OMI to NFT, they had OMI staking wallet, they had a plethora of things, like over a dozen things. And they could have taken that opportunity to say, hey, these are the other things that we're going to get rid of. They didn't. And there's been twice where I'd been messaged by the team saying like, hey, saw your video, but this was wrong. And then I went and made a correction like that next day. I've been talking about OMI to Gem for quite a while on many of my videos, and not once have I been corrected by the team saying, hey, this is not right. We're not doing this anymore. So either they don't watch my videos anymore and they, and I'm wrong and both of those things happened, or they're just like, hey, this does not say anything because he's probably right. So OMI to Gem is like, I know everyone's super excited for OMI to NFT because you're going to get those fees that are going to help fill that Gem liquidity pool. But OMI to Gem is really what's going to go and burn from the circulating supply. You're going to have other stuff like crypto to Gem everything's going to have fees attached to it. That's going to fill that Gem liquidity pool. Ecomi's already said they'll donate 1 million gems to that. So already $1 million worth of OMI can be burned straight from that, from OMI to Gem. So likely we're going to get that first. But right now, the next thing is really just going to be use of the bronze tickets.
Awesome. Yeah. I just checked. My bronze tickets haven't updated, so I'm guessing it's going to stay zero balance until April.
Maybe March.
It would be nice if they did update the bronze tickets on the fly, though, right? They could calculate each day and update it.
Yeah, they do that with MCP. They'll do that with bronze tickets as well.
Just if you had some progress. Well, it's already 9 days in, right? It'd be cool to have some sort of progress to show why.
We likely won't get progress on that for a little while.
Ooh, Dr. Stuff. We miss you today.
Miss you, Dr. Stuff.
Yes.
I love you a long time.
Oh, well, thanks.
He's such a legend.
We've got a few more comments here. Ready to boop. Great classic IP. Who's gonna go for that one? So there's music, right? Is that like special music that she has? So iconic.
Yeah,
music?
she has a bunch of songs. Right? Yeah. If you've ever heard it, it's not very good. It's like super old timey big band, came out in the 1930s, so it's not my brand. But I'm sure people like it. There's a couple old souls. There's just people that like that type of stuff. And there's 4 different types, so I'll get one. Depending on the price. I can't see her being crazy expensive. The licensing rights on that is weird. They haven't said exactly which from which company, whether it was Paramount or Fleischer. Because the licensing with her is pretty weird.
Yeah, I got a really funny comment. I just really wanted to put this on. Danny is my guy. He's smart. He talks very rationally. But we need to mute his ass for the next 2 years because I need Moon Boy numbers for Omi. Danny has a job in the secret. Just kidding, Danny. We love
Sorry,
Mike.
Mike, man.
Yeah.
Mike usually takes it every episode for the funniest comment. That was funny, but Mike, I know you got even better stuff in there.
Yeah, no pressure, Mike, but we need some more rippers. Hi, fam. Woo.
He set the bar so high that's usually so comparatively, like his other stuff is a 10 out of 10, and that was like a 7.8. Only because he moved the bar so high.
He does set the bar high. Randy, you know what this is? Randy attacking a judge, David Yu in the courtroom.
I
haven't seen it.
Okay, no. So they're referencing a TikTok where there's this guy. He's in he's got like a rapper on a sweater, like a hip hop artist on a sweater, and he's saying he's pleading his case in court, like, judge, don't give me 6 months because I haven't been involved in any crime in the last 3 months outside of this. I've turned my life around. And the judge is like, listen, given your past history of being violent and whatever, I think you're a danger to others, and you're going to get the 6 months in prison. So he legit Air Jordans over the desk and attacks the judge, and hits her before he gets wrangled by the plaintiff. It's by the bailiffs. It's pretty wild. I think that's
real. Is that a real life video that they've?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
January has been
viral.
Insane.
Okay.
Yeah, January's been insane. You have aliens in Florida. You have there's a prison outside of Missouri or Mississippi that has 215 bodies buried in the back of it. You have one of the aliens in Florida. What else I have? Stephen Hawking is part of Epstein Island. I did not have that on my bingo card.
Oh, did they release the list?
Yeah.
They released the list?
They released it a few days ago. It was
Stephen Hawking was on it.
So apparently,
does his lower body work, or did it work?
So we don't know, but they said that he liked watching midgets do complex equations.
Is that true? That was.
I mean, it's literally in the court filing. So it was said under
Was that in
oath.
the court filing for real?
Yeah, so it was said under oath. So that person could just be a massive troll, or it could be true. He liked to watch midgets do complex equations on boards that were too high for them. I swear, that is
a wild man.
Yeah, that's funny. That is funny.
Yeah, the memes have been hysterical.
Do you guys see the footage of the Bayside Mall aliens? It look pretty funky. Look pretty cool.
It was filmed on a potato though. You can't tell the clarity of it.
It was a helicopter. There's a helicopter video that I saw.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one.
See these large, shadowy entities moving around, and apparently the police were shooting at them with guns, and it was doing nothing because they're probably on multiple dimensions. Oh no, we better not go down this rabbit hole. Look, like I said, I've been to other dimensions. There's plenty. This is just Earth is the Earth school. We're on the Earth ship, the Earth school, just to learn here. Okay, guys, this is not the be all and end all. There'll be many, many other dimensions for you guys to explore. We ain't going nowhere. It's all
great conversation. So we're at first music. Well, it's first music with lyrics. There's other sounds on the VV app, but this is the first one with cool stuff.
In Vegas.
We've done end of the year OMI price revisions. Have we done quarterly? We do that for the.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. How about we do April?
Yeah, end of Q1, end of Q2, end of Q3.
Oh, quarterly. I thought you said orderly. I was like, what?
How about we just do
people that help out at hospitals, orderlies?
End of Q2 is probably going to be the best price prediction just for that. Because I feel like mid-year and then end of the year are the two most important. In between that, I don't know. I don't think we're getting anything in the first quarter. What do you think, Randy?
I think we go up by was 10. So we're 0006. So to increase by 20%, we'd be at 0007 something, 72, 774. I say increase to 20%. We get up to 0074 by the end of Q1. It's nothing, but I don't think the real movement really starts until Q2.
Unless we get something at the Crypto XR event, because that would be cool. But we don't know.
Maybe short term, yeah.
I mean, the only person who knows is Foster and the rest of the Ecomi team, or some of the Ecomi team.
Yeah.
There's some things that he knows, but just kind of look what happened with blockchain gaming. And what's interesting about that, why did blockchain gaming even run 2 months ago? That was one of the questions I asked myself, like, why is it even running? What kicked this off? Did some major game come out in the blockchain world that everyone's playing? No, you know what kicked it off? Alex Becker and Elio Trades, who have decent numbers, pumping it and declaring that blockchain gaming is going to happen. And then, well, enough people bought it. It wasn't even new people coming into crypto. It was existing people putting new money into those projects. And it was completely content creator created. Not that that's a bad thing. Like, I think that narrative is going to do amazing. But that alone ran some of these projects like 15x, because people then chase green candles. And I think blockchain gaming is going to hit even bigger. But one of the narratives that's been asleep for a while is this digital collectibles narrative. But when is it going to hit? I have no idea. Like, I wouldn't have, like, if you'd asked me 2.5 months ago if Miria was going to 15x yet, I'd say the chances were really, really slim of that. The chances were like 5 or 10%. But yet then some big channels came in and declared that these games were going to be absolutely huge. And it got enough people buying that then the charts looked even juicier and more people rolled in and absolutely ran. So I have no idea what the price is going to be at the end of Q2. Like, I know that this narrative at some point is going to hit, and it's probably going to hit extremely hard. I just don't know what that time is going to be. And I don't see specifically why it would be before Q2. Unless the greater bull run, like, who knows, 2 days from now, Bitcoin could kick off this awareness across the world that people are like, oh, crypto. And then over the following 4 months, they'll just start throwing money into Bitcoin and then rolling it into other things, and complete FOMO happens, and then everything runs. Or it could be kind of a delayed impact, that it's up and some people start buying it, but generally the public's not paying attention until maybe the end of this year. And then they're throwing money at everything. So I don't have a clue what it's going to be at the end of Q2. Like, it would just be a random guess that it's like 3 or 4x from here.
Bill Garner says he loves conspiracy talk.
Same.
So Rain, you said 3-4x, so that would be like a 002.
Yeah, 4x would be 0024, right?
Oh, by end of Q1?
No, Q2.
Oh, yeah. Q2. All right.
I would also agree. That's sort of the number I was thinking of, around 002.
Yeah, that's it.
By then, some more things have happened, and people will, like, I don't know, like, FUD doesn't last for forever, and it's been at epic levels. Cardano had epic levels FUD. When the chart, you look back on that, you could almost see it in the chart. Just look back to the last bear market, and when Cardano was at its lowest, guess what? The FUD was at the highest. And then what happened after? Started going up, and then all these people that had written Cardano off as dead are all of a sudden covering Cardano every day. Same thing will happen with OMI. Danny,
what's your take?
Q2.
End of Q2.
Yeah, it's impossible to say, but if I had to say, I'd go between 00072 through maybe 0012.
Cool. Interesting. So Randy, are you bearish again? The most bearish, I think.
Well, mine was end of Q1 was at 000. So I guess end of Q2 I'd be 002. So I think Danny's most bearish for Q2. Q3 is, I think we start in Q2, and then Q3 I think I would say 007 in Q3 and end of Q3.
That's a 10x from now by end of Q3. Yeah, and I think that's totally possible if they release that utility by the end of Q2, right? And we get maybe one decent exchange. They've got some more utility. We've got actual burning of OMI happening. all that stuff's happening. The narrative comes back around, and
I
bull
mean, we
runs,
should also have
bull runs
everyone in
momentum.
VVverse by that point as
I
well.
mean, it's crypto, so moves are sudden and violent oftentimes. So you can't discount a sudden move that's like 4 or 5x. We've seen this thing play out over and over again.
Yeah, we've seen Ecomi or OMI run like 200% in 24 hours, right?
It's the nature of the space. When things run, they run hard, and you get those big parabolic lines straight up.
I mean, that doesn't take much. It takes what, like 20 grand to move it like 40%. Like it doesn't take that much. Oh, the volume liquidity is so low down here. It's very, very easy to manipulate. Yeah.
This guy says he wants to put a few thousand into bump. I have a few thousand to bump. I think I've got 3,000 or 4,000 to bump.
I wouldn't talk about it.
Rain has a lot more.
Yeah, it's at a really good price right now, right? So it started to run. They're doing some really good things. They're able to move it over to Arbitrum too, so now people can use it on Arbitrum for really cheap. And yet, so it ran up pretty high, and then it came down to 2.8 cents at the bottom. Then it ran up to 6 cents, and it's down at 4.8 cents. For me, anything under 10 cents was a buy zone. It gets really juicy at half of that. So I already have a really big bag of this that I'm just holding. I'll accumulate more if it gets even juicier from here. If I didn't already have some, I'd be buying at this price.
Danny, do you hold any bump?
No, I don't hold any bump.
Okay. And so we're all just sort of hodling at the moment, waiting for the market to do its thing.
DeFi has been out of narrative for a long time, and some people are like, "Oh, it'll never come back in narrative." Of course, it will. That's one of the biggest narratives where crypto makes massive efficiencies happen. Yeah. So, if you think of yourself in crypto, well, some people are just like crypto gamblers, so they don't fall under this. But if you're in crypto trying to make millions of dollars through the smarter side of investing, you're in early stage venture capital investing in the blockchain space. So you're looking for projects that have good leadership. They have a good narrative of why they might do well. And then you want to buy them when they're low, not high, hoping they go higher. You buy them when they're low. So that means generally they're out of the narrative, meaning people aren't talking about them. In fact, some people might be saying the narrative will never come back. That's what's music to your ears. Like, when I had a comment on my OMI video recently that's like, "Oh, OMI's dead and blah, 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 and it's never going to survive and it'll never get above 0.0020. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you. Confirmation that I'm right, because that usually tells you you're at the bottom when the general sentiment is it'll never come back into narrative. Of course it will.
We had a comment earlier for the project Rio. I just can't find the comment. RIO. I own some of that. Danny, you got any of that?
Yeah, I do have a nice bag of Rio. I bought it at like 11 cents. So I think it's at like 80 cents, 75 cents now.
Ooh, nice.
Yo, nice.
So is that 8x, 7x?
Yeah.
Yeah, wicked.
That's a real world asset. That's a real world asset play. Still a low market cap, only about 50 million.
Yeah, it's pretty low. I think I'm on a 2 or 3x or something on that as well. It's a pretty good one for me.
Yeah, I think it'll do well.
So Randy, we had a really interesting comment earlier. I don't know where it is here. Here we go. Here we go. It's bouncing. It's bouncing. Here it is. Okay. Shout out to Ron and Crypto Rain. They both have grade A groups. I've learned a lot of both of them. Now we need to get Randy to join them and force him to diversify. It's time, Randy.
Let's go, Randy. Today's the day.
No, don't diversify at the bottom.
Don't do it. No.
Well, you can put new money in. He doesn't have to sell.
Yeah, I could always put new money in.
Yeah, you can diversify around your bag.
For that's what I've been doing really for the last 6 months. I'd say I would buy a lot of VV NFTs that I really like that aren't so easy to get, or they're a little bit more expensive than most people would like to spend. So
Randy, is that diversifying? Because if VV went down, OMI and VV would both go down. So I don't
know. That's true. It's still in the Ecomi ecosystem.
It's a little bit of diversification because sometimes they run at different times.
That's also true. Yeah.
But it's not very much diversification, because if one stone takes out one of the two, it'll probably take out the other one.
Yeah, I mean, if I would, you could make the arguments that just vacations, having fun lives. I would say MMX is the only legitimate thing that I would be in right now. I mean, you have BoJack and you have Grumpy Cat and you have 4chan, but for the most part, I would say MMX is really the only other legitimate. Oh, I guess Earth 2 as well. And this is what I really think. I brought this up the other day on a video or a stream. I forget which one, but Earth 2 has maybe in 2022 in December, they released a 30-minute video, and it was epic, hundreds of thousands of views. And then last year, or the past couple months, they released one video per month, and it was like 7 minutes or 5 minutes each. And I would love it if Vivi would go and release videos or trailers, and it doesn't have to be long. It could be 10 seconds of what you could do in the Viviverse, or a screenshot of an IP branded world in the Viviverse. We know we're getting Ron English, Delusionville. Give us a screenshot of that, because that you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. We already know that's coming. I'm not saying to go and do whatever stuff we have, Kripken's world, which would be nuts. It's definitely not happening, but I think that would really build up the hype. But Earth 2, I mean, it's possible that Earth 2's essence, really comes out and pops off before OMI does. If that happens, I'll go and I'll sell some of that essence and I'll buy more OMI. But if the reverse happens, I'll go sell some OMI if OMI pumps first before Earth 2's essence comes out, and then I'll buy more of that. I only have 40,000 of that.
So you don't think you want to try and get in some other crypto projects, Randy? Like ones that are like 1 million market cap?
So I'm actually doing that with
Epico.
I'm doing that with Rain. I don't know what went wrong. I put 9,000 into tried to put it into my Coinbase via wire today, but it kicked it back because me and Rain are kind of in charge of this fund that's gonna eventually send a lot of money. I don't have a ton now, but we'll be doing. I don't know if you want to say the names, Rain. What we're doing? Not yet. Yeah, no. But so in the fund, it's kind of like, hey, treat yourself how you would treat someone you love. I guess you could say for me, it'd be like, Chavez, treat your bags as you would treat somebody else's bags. Somebody else's bags, we're getting into a lot of these super small cap, but really good projects. And they're going to be very good.
So you're looking at diversifying.
No, it's for a friend of mine. It's for a fund that I'm in charge of. It's not that's not for me. For me, I'm all in on OMI minus Earth 2's crypto, but that's about it.
Okay. And what happened to your meme coins? Did you sell them off or?
No, I still have them. I mean, I'm down in most of them except for Bojack. Bojack, I think I'm up, but I only put like 1,500 in there, so it's not.
Yeah.
I put more in MMX. I think I put like 3,500 in. That's also down.
Because we got some comments just saying that VV NFTs are not diversifying when you've got huge OMI bags.
Yeah, I mean, for now, I think I'm probably done. I have my bags. If I
just see what happens this run and you work it out next run, what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, I mean, if I get a windfall of something, or if I'm not doing anything, I have a lot of things planned for each month though. But if I have a month where I'm not doing anything and I don't really need to travel anywhere, I don't need to, have fun, then it's like, okay, I'll throw a little bit more.
Yeah, look, I think OMI's going to do well. We all hold a lot of OMI here. I don't think you're in trouble at all. But obviously, it would be great to diversify just because I don't think OMI's going to do 200x, 1,000x. It's not going to do crazy numbers like that, in my opinion.
The chances of it doing 1,000x are really slim.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Yeah. Should it happen? Never. It should never happen. But Tesla should not have 7x in 2021. It still did. It should not have, but it did. So it's like, will OMI go 1,000x? Gosh, I'd be floored if it did. If it goes 100x, like count your stars that like the stars did align and it did really good.
In March, I'll probably buy more OMI though, because I do believe Q2 is going to start to be a bit bigger.
Awesome. So we're looking at around a 3-4x by mid-year that we expect from OMI. We'll see how that goes. What would you do, Randy, if we got to Q3 and OMI hadn't moved? Would you then sell and start diversifying?
I would definitely sell my VV NFTs, and I would go and I'd likely put that into OMI. But I wouldn't, because again, if VV had accomplished things and they said here's utility, and the token hadn't moved, that's the same thing with what we're talking about with Tesla. It's like, hey, here's a new car that we're working on. Hey, we're selling everything that we make, and they're still not moving. That's just building a bigger base. But if if Vivi hasn't accomplished anything, then that's a different story. Then I would be like, okay, you know, we haven't gotten Viviverse yet. We haven't gotten any of the bronze ticket or MCP utility that we're supposed to have.
Thanks,
So
B-Dubs.
that would be something different. Thanks, Dubs.
Yeah, my worry point was a year and a half ago when everything was soon and nothing was happening on their tech development side. And I realized their tech development side was broken. And they actually deployed a lot of resources towards fixing that. And it's not a quick fix. And it took them a while to get that in order. And then they started rolling out things on a more timeline that was acceptable, not the timeline you want, but it was acceptable. And so then I'm like, okay, cool. They addressed actually a problem that could have capsized them. Over time, that problem not being addressed would have capsized them, but they fixed it. They addressed it. They fixed it. And now things do get rolled out. They never get rolled out as fast as we would like, but they do get rolled out.
Awesome. Yeah, I've read my biggest concern was before we got that the MCP points for OMI, staking OMI, or not staking it, holding OMI. Before we had that, I was really concerned. And so after that, and now we've got
that was a fun little release, right? When you're like, yes, I can actually use my OMI for something. It's not a lot, but it's something.
It's a number that moves up, yeah, from having OMI in there. So it was definitely something. And you know, if they had MCP up and running earlier, that would have made it way more utility. Like you could say OMI has direct proper utility once MCP points are actually being used for drops. And like, you know, there's some pretty big drops they can release. So we know they've got so many big drops coming. And they plan like 5 to 10 years out, guys. They plan like many years.
Yeah, they're
really good. David is extremely good at that, right? And he's not working on things like he's really good at scheduling and getting things done that need to happen for 3 years from now. And so his insights and his ability to do that are probably in the top 10% of executives along those lines.
Yeah, for getting IP, there's no one better.
Yeah, the only issue with that is being in the crypto market is it's such a short, violent market that there's chances that OMI doesn't do as well as we want this run. But I think if that's the case, it'll do even better the next run. Like it could do, you know, do 1,000.
I do think though, somebody asked me about some. I think they were just trying to fuzz. They're talking about being insolvent, and you know that's why they're not lowering the cash out fee because they don't have the money. And I kind of did some back of the napkin math, and with everything, I was like, they probably have in the 8 figures in the war chest, like well over 10 million, and realizing that they could raise $50 to $100 million at any time that they want if they just sell a piece of the company. They don't have to sell the whole thing. They just, you know, if Tesla comes in and be like, hey, we want to go and expand our market, we want to buy it. So an easy, you know, 8 or even 9 figures they could raise, no problem. What they could do with that, Jesus, I don't know.
I feel like they should do that.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't understand that about the business behind it, right? And that's why I think their fundamentals are one of the strongest in the crypto space. And yet their price is really cheap. It creates this conundrum. People see their price really cheap and then they make assumptions that, well, man, they must suck. Nothing's going to happen there. No, it's just impatience. It's just impatience that the narrative hasn't run. Kind of like blockchain gaming ran and Myria went like 15x, and Myria didn't do anything new that happened during that time period. It's just the narrative finally came into focus in the crypto space, and Myria was one of the big players there. And so it benefited from that. Well, Ecomi is one of the biggest players in the digital collectibles narrative. And at a certain point, digital collectibles, like you will have major sports figures and major people talking about some of the digital collectibles and probably VV collectibles. And that will carry it tremendously. Like literally, not that I don't want Ecomi to do, I don't want them to like stop production, but if they did nothing new and it stayed where it was, when the digital collectibles narrative hits, like Ecomi and Vivi will still do tremendously well during that. They've done a lot. Like they are in tremendous places with some of the top brands out there. Sure, I want them to keep working. I'd love to see, you know, OMI to NFT, where you can just buy their collectibles using OMI. I would love to see more use cases for OMI. I really hope the bigger vision of the bronze tickets, where you can buy a bronze ticket with OMI for like $1, whatever OMI's token is, right? Basically $1 worth of OMI. that would be amazing, especially if the bronze tickets are used for what we thought they were going to be used for, which is to give you an extra opportunity to get waitlisted for something.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting that, basically what you're saying is that with nothing else happening, you still think OMI will have a decent run.
When the narrative comes in, right? Just like when I was making Miri video, Miri is not going to pump till they release another game. No, they were completely incorrect on that. What they said makes logical sense, but it doesn't work that way. It's like when the narrative hits, the big players in that narrative all of a sudden get in focus. And then you will have celebrities talking about, I bought an R2-D2. Oh my gosh, I bought a Spider-Man Secret Rare. Like one of the people in the comments was pointing out that, these major celebrities have like an R2-D2 and a Spider-Man Secret Rare. They will be promoting these collectibles. Why? Because it's major brands. And some of these people are professional level figures already that have this stuff. They're part of the community. But because like the prices aren't going up, they're not talking about them a lot, right? So we have that UFC fighter who's a big member in the VV fam. Well, when the prices are going up, people don't pay attention until the price is going up. So even though he's talking about VV, nobody's paying attention. But all of a sudden, VV collectibles do a 20x and he talks about it. Then you have 700,000 new people that day that go out and get the VV app. And VV didn't even run an ad.
It's funny.
We have a question for
That's
Danny.
funny.
For you, Danny?
He already he answered the question. One, it's a two-part question. What token will pass its previous all-time high? Two, why is it OMI?
Yeah, I think it's OMI because they actually have proper revenue, right? Like it's
the setup is there. Look, man, I think that it's possible. I didn't say that I don't want to come across as bearish or anything. I just like to be open to all outcomes, and it's definitely a possibility. I got to run right now. I want to thank you all.
Yeah.
Jordan, thanks for hosting again. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate chatting with everyone here. And Ron, of course, I'll catch you guys.
Bye, Danny.
Danny.
Later, guys.
I'm going to wrap it up as well. Ooh, let me fix this up. I've got to wrap it up as well now, guys. So if you guys can just say your final thoughts for the people watching.
Sure. You don't really have to understand NFTs or blockchain or technology to really have fun with this. It's not to say you shouldn't learn about that. You should really never let technology pass you by. But you don't need to know about that. You don't need to have a MetaMask. You don't need to have all these different crypto wallets. All you need is just a PayPal, a bank account, whatever. Something that most people have, and you can enjoy it. And it's fun. And it's there is something for everyone here. There's Steamboat Willie and Betty Boop for the boomers, and there is Superman for the comics for the nerds like us, and then you have Krypkins for the weird people and Krypkins to the moon, I guess. And then you do have that token aspect, you do have the crypto aspect, and there's going to be that level of arbitrage where hey, the token's running, NFTs are staying, then the NFTs are running, then tokens staying the same. And you'll be able to go and have fun in the metaverse, and that we're going to have not only NFT narrative but the metaverse narrative as well. I'm very excited for what's going to happen Q2, Q3 area.
It's going to be a big deal, and it doesn't feel like it when you're at this point. And this is why so many people get washed out in crypto. And I just see this pattern play out. I watch it in real estate too, but real estate, the pattern was so long. But in crypto, it's like the FUD gets really, really huge for like a 6-month period, and people just get washed out. And they get often washed out of very good positions because it's hard. The general consensus is OMI won't survive. Oh my gosh, they made all these mistakes. David, you didn't sign the DocuSign, or they'd be on another exchange. So what? We're waiting for the narrative to hit again, and Ecomi and Veve is positioned as one of the top players in the digital collectibles narrative with major brands. So you've got Marvel, Disney, Batman, like other DC stuff. Like when it hits, it'll hit big. And like in the comments, right? Mo Collections 31 is saying that Andrew Jick, major YouTube channel, he's been a VV collector and he'll probably start talking about it a bunch. I bet he will. And he's got good credibility with his audience, right? So Tom Bilyeu also collects VV. They're just not talking about it now. But when green candles happen, Then they'll talk about it, which will bring major awareness. Because what do people do? They chase green candles, right? They say, oh my gosh, what did you make? You made 20x on something? Oh my gosh, where do I buy that? Okay,
so you're saying that's how exit liquidity.
That's exactly what gets people's awareness. They then come in and throw their money late in the game. So it then takes it from, for those that were in early, it goes from a 20x to 100x. For those that came in late, it goes 5x from there. And then they're telling all their friends that they made 5x. And what do their friends do? Come in and buy the top. And those people who bought and made 5x gains, they don't know enough to then take profit. So all their gains get erased too. And the only ones that made the money were the ones that bought low. And then when everyone was coming in, they were taking profits and selling.
One last question before we head off. I think he might be talking about OMI specifically, or any token. It really depends on your risk tolerance and how much you want to make.
Yeah.
But I won't be selling any more of my OMI till probably around 1 cent. I think is when I want to start taking a little bit of profit. What are you, Randy?
Yeah, I'd like to wait until then. But again, if OMI goes up just 10x and we're at 0.006 and I'm a millionaire again, and Essence comes out, Earth 2's token at 20 cents. I'll sell 50 million OMI, and maybe not that much, but I'll sell a big percentage of my bag in order to get into that.
So you're going to do it either way, whichever one's down. You're going to sell Essence for OMI or OMI for Essence.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
and
you really believe in both projects evenly.
Yeah, both were inflicted by the he who shall not be named, but they're both really good.
They were. That's funny. That's funny.
but yeah, so but if the opposite happens, if Essence comes out, then I likely won't sell any OMI really up until 1 cent, maybe almost 2. I'd like to make a video that says how Ecomi made me a multi-millionaire. So I'd have to wait till 1.2 cents or 1.1 cents, something like that.
Awesome. Guys, well, we've got to head off now. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoy this. It was a bit all over the place, but that's what we like on this show. Bit of variety. See you guys. We'll catch you next week.
Right. We'll see everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye, mate.
Okay. Bye.